Hello people, welcome to another episode of Field of Play. My name is Ellie and today we're talking about the official unveiling of Chris Hughton as the official Black Stars coach. This happened at the event in Kumasi at the SG Mall. Kindly remember to subscribe, like, share and click on the notification bell. When we come back, we'll go into details. Stay tuned. Hi people, welcome back. Like I said, Chris Hughton has officially been unveiled as the Black Stars coach. Now he's been given a 1.5 years contract, which is going to be renewed based on his performance. Now the event happened at the SG Mall in Kumasi today. To the joy of both fans and authorities, his contract details were revealed to the public today. Chris Hughton was officially given the job in February, but because he had not been announced as the coach, the contract details were not made to the public until today. Now, his assistant coach, George Boateng and Didi Dramani, have also been given similar contracts. Chris Hughton's appointment at this time is very critical because the country is looking at building a new Black Star squad after a poor performance at Qatar 2022. Chris Hughton has been entrusted to restoring Ghana football to its former glory and also bring back the pride and love of the supporters. Chris Hughton has extensive managerial experience in football, having led clubs in the English Championship and the English Premiership. Now, he's known for being a no-nonsense dedicated coach who is strong on discipline, tactics, and strategy. All these traits will be put to the task as he prepares the national team for victory in the coming days. His first test for the Black Stars will come on Thursday as we take on Angola in the double qualifier. Alright, so let's take a listen.
Get a good feel, head start, but as regards my emotions, as most of you know, the large majority of my managerial career has been at club level. And also as a player, for those that know me would know that I represented the Republic of Ireland as a player. So to represent Ghana and the Black Stars as the head coach is something that I'm incredibly proud of. Sorry about the noise. It's something that I'm incredibly proud of. It's something that I will give everything to make the team as successful as possible. It's something that I will do to make sure that the communication and the relationship that I have with this association, for those around the association, and of course the supporters, to give all of my best. So something that I'm hugely looking forward to. But very much our game is about support, and as I said, support from the association, but mostly support from the huge array of fans that we have, and that starts with obviously a very difficult game at Kumasi on Thursday.
Hello coach, my name is Evans Sofochu. I work at City FM, City TV. My question is two. One, what sort of Black Stars or brand of football are we to expect from your Black Stars? Two, you've been around the team for a year now. What's your response to allegations of interference in the technical team's work from the GFA hierarchy?
All I can say is that I am the new head coach. So anything that you speak of before my time here is very much something that you are bringing up and is in the past. All I can speak about is my communication and correspondence that I had with the association in my time being involved so far. And I can only speak highly of that lines of communication and correspondence and the support that I've had from the association. So this is one that I think it's hugely important, because for the Black Stars to do well and achieve what we want to achieve, this is mostly about the players and the players performing, but it's about the technical staff, it's about the supporters around, but it's also very much about the support from the association. And it's very difficult to go in the direction you want to if you don't have all of them things aligned. And I can only speak of my experiences so far. I said the communication that I've had with the association has been very good. As regards what type of team we will see, what we want to see a winning team, because there can be and there will be lots of questions on a style of football, players that play, why is this player not playing and why is this player playing? Are you too defensive? Are you too offensive? Ultimately, what we all want to see is winning football. And that starts with the correct preparation of the team, using the players to the best of their ability, and picking a team that suits the type of players that we have. So I think we all, as coaches, start on the same level, same starting point. The starting point is to put together a group of players, to play as a team, and to win football matches.
What capacity or what capabilities makes you ideal for this very demanding job? Number two, you were the technical advisor for the Stars. You talked about your association and all of that. Will you describe yourself as, would you describe that stint, that advisory or consultancy role as a failure, or you think you were successful? And finally, how would your coaches or your coaching staff and your players describe you as a coach? How would they describe you?
Yes, if you're asking me, firstly, why I am in this role, and the obvious answer to this one is because the Football Association of Ghana asked me if I would do this role, and after whether I would be interested in being the next head coach. It's a role that I didn't hesitate to accept. As regards my capabilities for this role, I've been in football for a long time, not only as a head coach but also as an assistant coach. I was an assistant coach for some 14 and a half years before I was a head coach. Then went on to be a head coach, and for those that know my career as a head coach, that has been in the Championship in England, but also managed 3 teams in the Premier League in England. So I think my standing and credentials as a coach of coaching at a good level, I think is good. Everybody has different opinions. The difference, of course, is managing or coaching at international level and club level. And of course, there is a difference. You know, the preparation time is less. Of course, at club level, you have the players day in and day out to be able to develop a team. But this is international football, so every coach or every manager in international football has the same difficulties, and we have to get round them. What I have is, I say, a lot of experience as a head coach, and I will have to use all of them experiences to determine the way forward for the team, to pick the team, to pick the squad, the tactics of the team. These are things that I'm used to, and also adjusting to a less period of preparation. You know, we had players that played yesterday. So in effect, we'll train on Tuesday, we'll train on Wednesday and play a game on Thursday. So these are the things that I would like to think that my years in experience have allowed me to do. As regards my role as technical advisor, then my role predominantly was to support the technical staff, to be a sounding board for the technical staff and the head coach. And I think overall there were disappointments in the World Cup. There's no doubt about that. But I think we had a lot of pluses. You have to always break it down, and you have to look at the games one by one. And I think out of the 3 games, obviously the biggest disappointment was losing against Uruguay and the manner in which we exited. But I think most people would have looked at the Portuguese game with the quality that they have. They're standing in world football. Here and now, we have 2 games. 2 games this week, and this is what the most important thing is. But I also have to have an eye on development, and I think I will be judged on a way a team play, what I've made from the players that we have, whether I've been managed to get the best out of the players that we have, and have a support, and this is the most important thing, that have a support that enjoy seeing their team play. Now, what is judged as success and failure will be perceived in different ways. Ultimately, at this moment, it's about winning 2 games this week. It's about qualification to get to AFCON, and it's doing and preparing the team as well as we can from AFCON and performing the best that we can in an AFCON tournament. And it's normal. It's normal that you will be judged
in your squad for the Angola double header, and then knowing the squad is a different thing, but knowing the expectation of the country is also a different thing. How does the Nigeria game, especially in Kumasi, and the atmosphere, compare? I know you've played in some big stadia, you've managed some big teams. On Tyneside, it's a very, very mad football city. How does that pressure, especially in games in Kumasi, compare to what you've had experience as a player and then a manager?
And I looked at this very roughly this morning. There have been a lot of new players that have come into the squad. So if I think of the dynamics of the team, and when I pick the squad, is to try to incorporate the best I can with the new players that have come into the squad, and of course the existing squad members. I can only ever pick 25 players, and I think most of you would know that we have some injuries. So some players that have come into the squad that wasn't in the initial squad. But it's that balance. And what I didn't want to do was, because what I can do is that if I'm looking at the amount of talent that we have out there, I potentially could have brought in, another new 3, 4, 5 players that have not been involved in my period of time. But we have to have some consistency in the squad. And we spoke about going out of a World Cup in the last game, but we have to remember, this is a team that got to the World Cup when there were numerous very, very good teams, African teams, that didn't get there. So the starting position is good. I say, with the introduction of a lot of new players in my period of time here, I have to look for some type of consistency in the squad. The game in Kumasi, yes, and I think it was difficult for me. It's my first time in Kumasi, my first time at a game. And I think when you're there, around that type of atmosphere, it's difficult for it not to affect you. And it does. How vibrant it was, the build-up to the game, the intensity of the game itself, but the intensity of our crowd. And I have no doubt that the influence that the crowd played on the team and the head coach. So this is something that's always important for us. And you are right, I've played in big stadiums before and big atmospheres before. And you are always reliant on that atmosphere to get behind the team. And it does make a difference. So certainly as regards what I saw there, yes, it was something that was wonderful for me to see, and something that I, to this day, remember.
Thank you very much. My name is Kevin Zando. I work with Slam FM and Isha FM of the Multimedia Group Limited. Congrats, Chris, once again, and I wish you well. In your short stint with Ghana Football as technical advisor of the Black Stars, what have you made of local football? I'm talking about the Ghana Premier League. And what is the possibility that going forward, we have some of the players playing in the Ghana Premier League featuring in your future call-ups? Thank you very much.
Firstly, what I can tell you is from the day that I've been involved with the association, which is, say, about 1 year ago. I was made aware and stressed upon how important the local game is to the association and to us as technical staff. So this I am very conscious of. And of course, in my period of time so far, we have had some players that have made the squad, okay, from our local game. So I certainly will not underestimate it. Where I think I can add value in my new role is that, you know, I will be spending more time in Ghana. I will be watching more games. I will be attending more clubs, and getting to know the league far better than I was perhaps given the opportunity to before. And the only reason I wasn't before is because our concentration is very much on a World Cup campaign. But I am constantly being made aware of players that are doing well. Of course, there's the league structure and the teams that are doing well. And certainly in my new role as head coach, I will be paying very much attention to not only the players that are doing well, but the game here in general, because I think it is important. I think it's important that any national team has a good national league. And I will do my very best to make sure that I see as much football here as possible.
Coach, congrats on your appointment. Sorry for the loss of your father. My name is Richard Champo. I work with Akoma FM and the Media General. Coach, short questions. Baba Idrisu was a constant member of this team until unfortunately he got injured and missed the World Cup. He's recovered, he's playing, he was out of your squad. Any special reasons why Baba Idrisu missed out on the call-up? Then, what can you do to help us in coaching? You are the head of our national team, A. Do you have any responsibilities to help the other national teams or to even help coaches in general in Ghana? Finally, as I said, you lost your father, sorry. How important was your father to your coaching career, and is there going to be any effect once he's gone?
Firstly, thank you very much for your condolences. My father played a very big part of my life. When I can tell you now, when my father came to England, he wasn't a fanatical football supporter. He wasn't. And he probably grew more knowledgeable as he got older, because it wasn't only myself that was a professional footballer, also my brother. So he grew more knowledgeable. I think that our development as young players wouldn't have been through my dad. He was a very supportive dad, but he, as I said, particularly in the early years, wasn't so much of a football fanatic, but that he grew on. So mostly with my dad, it's about the support network that he's always given me. So as in general, as opposed to just in football. As regards Baba Idrisu, as with so many players in the squad, you have decisions to make, so many. And for Baba Idrisu, we could speak about probably another 5, 6, 7 players that I had to consider closely before making a decision. So, 25 players in the squad will all be my own personal decisions. And they can be tight decisions. A way of playing, one player is a little bit different, has some different qualities to a different player. The mix in the squad, if I'm looking at players that we have in the squad, who will be a correct mix to somebody that perhaps will be playing in a similar type position to them. So these are all very, very tough decisions. And I can tell you, this was a tough decision. But as I said, I can only pick 25 players, and there are players that will miss out. Yes, I mean, in my, what I have to do in my time here is I've already spoken about trying to attend as many games as I can from the local leagues. Also, throughout the FA, we have the different age group teams, also the ladies' teams, and I think we all know the prominence now of the ladies' game, ladies' football. So I will try to do as much as I can. It will always be about getting the correct balance. You know, we have a huge number of the squad that play in Europe. So for me, it will be about getting the correct balance between opportunities to, of course, see players that are playing in Europe, but also players that are playing here in our local teams, and of course our other international teams. So in the period of time that I here, I will try to do as much work as I can.
Good morning, Chris, and also accept my condolences. I'm sitting down here, so that, my condolences. An opportunity for you this afternoon to see a local game. There's a Ghana Premier League game between King Faisal and BBNE Gold Stars at Abrankese. I'm sure the communications director will bring you there to watch and see the level of football on the domestic front, which will give you a good perspective of the barrier or the gap between the local league and, of course, the level you're looking at the Black Stars. And then also, Chris Hughton's legacy, your fingerprints, your footprints. You know, when we talk about managers, you always say that this is his style. That is how we know Zidane or Ancelotti or any national team coach. Chris Hughton, how would you describe yourself, and what kind of legacy would you leave for the Black Stars in a few years' time when you've won a few trophies, hopefully?
Okay, thank you very much. So on the first question, I am aware of the game today. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend. For those that know, I was here in Kumasi for most of the day yesterday in a very busy international period. We have players that have arrived that will train today, and we have players that will arrive tomorrow. So I think certainly it's a game that I would like to attend to, and if the circumstances were different and I had more time, then certainly I would attend. But at this moment, having spent so much time away from the home base yesterday and this morning, then I need to be back for the training group this afternoon. As regards to legacy, it's always a very difficult question, because what I am conscious of is results, and I'm very conscious of, in the media, supporters, fans, everything's the same. You win games, you're good. You lose games, you're not so good. These are the things that will never ever change. So, a legacy is about a way of playing. I understand the type of players that we have in the team, and I think we have a lot of technically talented players in the team. But I'm also conscious of what the supporters want most is to win football matches, and you have to go about your tactics in a different way to when you are playing one of the top teams than when you are not playing one of the top teams. So a legacy would be, I hope, that Chris came in for whatever period that is, was seen to work as hard as he can to make sure that a Black Stars team with good, quality, talented players achieves the best that they can achieve.
Okay, congratulations, Coach. My name is Obede Champon. I work with Silver FM. Well, we've been having a lot of conversations, but we all know you are going to be involved in so many call-ups. Can you help us, the media, with regards to the 5 bases your call-ups will depend on, whether it's going to be based on experience, whether it's going to be on form, but that will be based on discipline, like the 5 metrics that you are going to use, or even if it's more, all the metrics you'll be using in your various call-ups. And again, we've not won a trophy. My brother Obi asked about that question. Should Ghanaians expect a trophy from you at the end of the period? Can you promise us that? Or we should just go with the flow. You are just going to build a team, and if we win a trophy or not, we should be okay with that.
I'll go backwards and I'll start with the second question. One thing I could tell you is there is not one coach, head coach or manager that would sit up here and guarantee a trophy. There is not one, because we cannot guarantee anything. What we can guarantee is that we will work as hard as we can to put a team together to create the right tactics, the right mentality, the right personnel to put ourselves in the best position to do that. And firstly, that comes with qualification. So we will work as hard as we can. But I think you probably would appreciate there isn't
from the juvenile side to the senior side. A lot of the young players we have in the national team currently are players who either played in the academies in Europe or
about a process, and we're talking about a development process. So I'll answer the question first, and then I'll go back to it. First, you have to look at there are also players that have come through the system and have developed very well and are very prominent in the Black Stars senior team. So for what you are saying, for something that hasn't happened, in a lot of occasions it has happened. I think we are a squad that have had, to say, young players that have come through the system. Also, for what you're saying, this is nothing new. This would be exactly the same at club level. There are so many good young talents, and not all of them can develop the way that you would like to. The game can only hold so many players. The team can only have 11 players. The squad can only have 25. So for those that the young, talented, promising ones that didn't develop, sometimes there is also that young player that perhaps wasn't the level of the others and makes great progress. And sometimes they're the ones that you value more, that you didn't expect to get to the position that they have, and they have. And there are many examples of that. As regards a process, I said I will work as hard as I can to determine the young players that we have here. Most of them we would have on our files anyway, but to determine the ones that we have here and look at the processes for their development. So I said I will work as hard as I can on this one, but you'll be surprised that there would be far more that have come through a system and developed well than perhaps what you think.
Congratulations, coach. My name is Sally Ujara. I work with Footballs FM. My question is, Thomas Partey has been one of the integral members of this squad, but a lot of Ghanaians felt he has not living up to expectation compared to his performance at the club side. What do you make of that? And again, you are the new man in the dugouts. Going forward, are we going to see the best of Thomas Partey? Thank you very much.
I think firstly, and he's playing a huge part in their success at the moment. But Thomas's role, is what we regard in the game as a continuity player. He's not going to be that player, that exciting player that's going to dribble past somebody and score a goal, or run down the flank, beat somebody, get across him. But Thomas's role has always been hugely important to the managers that pick him. And this is why at international level and at club level, he has always been in the teams because of his value to the team. And sometimes that type of player, his value for what we see in the team and what we see as coaches,
to our culture, our traditions, and also to our football culture. How essential will it be for you to fully immerse in the various subculture and then the grand football culture that Ghana has? And then two, are you going to set time frames for us to know exactly where you've got into as regard this particular Black Stars project?
So, firstly, it was my responsibility to the association.
Thank you, Manfred. It's Love and Insure and Multimedia. First of all, I want to ask you, at the World Cup, largely we played between a 3-back, 4-back sometimes. There are a lot of Ghanaians who feel that we have a lot more quality to play with a free flowing, that's the general phrase when you're attacking football. You have been described as tactically flexible. In an interview with Coach's Voice, you mentioned your 4-4-1, 4-2-3-1 and the likes. What do you think is the best set of structure that fits the team on and off the ball? Again, to specifics again, Mohamed Kudus is a player that's a lot of tacticals feel that he's a progressive midfielder. But again, at Ajax Amsterdam, we've seen that at the final third, he has a lot of goals and assists. And people feel that between himself and Victor Osimhen, these are two of the best African strikers in Europe right now. Do you think Mohamed Kudus should be playing in deep line areas with his progressive carries and his press resistance abilities, or he needs to be at the top? And then finally, with everything that you have said in your tax, do you think the 21 months that has been given to you by the association is enough to get this job done? Thank you.
As a coach, you have to have that flexibility. You know, we can talk about being flexible as coaches and wanting to play in different systems and trying to get the correct players into that system. But it's also about the opposition, the quality of the opposition and what you are allowed to do. So you have to be, as a coach, you have to be flexible enough for this. You know, I already spoke this morning that, you know, the tactics can be different for when you are playing a top ranked team to a team that's not. Ultimately, it's about trying to use the players in your squad to the best of their abilities fitting into a system. And this is always the hardest part, because remember, at international level, you will be taking players that play in different systems at their clubs, play in different positions at their clubs. So you have a very short period of time. Generally, you have a system and a structure that you want to play, and you try to work the players around that. Generally, that's the best way to do it, because otherwise there are too many players playing in positions that maybe they're not used to playing. As regards Mohamed Kudus, he's still a developing player. And what I think we are lucky with Kudus is that he is a player that can play in numerous positions. So for anybody, everybody here will have a different opinion on his best position. You also have to look at his club. His club are the team, the coach, the assistant coaches that have him every day in the training, every week or twice a week in games. So they would know Kudus better than anybody. And what Ajax have done, they've played him in a few positions. At this moment, he's playing on the right-hand side. For me, it's about just trying to get the right balance and trying to get the best out of players in whichever position. Because one thing that's general is that sometimes there'll be a player playing for the Black Stars or any international team that may be playing a slightly different position for their clubs. As regards the duration of my contract, I have to get that right balance. I have to get that right balance of what is short term, what is medium term, and what is long term. At this moment, always the most important thing is short term. Winning football matches that will get you into a better position for when the other games come round. The medium term, of course, is making sure that you qualify and do well in the competitions itself. The longer term, of course, is about developing players and bringing players, like you've said.
Or otherwise, if Richard Kingston is still the goalkeeper's trainer for the Black Stars. I will take that. That's the responsibility of the Football Association. What I can announce here is that we haven't made any technical change to the team that assembled, that represented us at the World Cup. George Boateng and Didi Domani are still the assistant coaches. Richard Kingston remains the goalkeeper's trainer. There have been some additions in other specific departments, but as regards Richard, Didi, and George, there is no change. Thank you.
So from Love FM. Henry, when you started, we didn't hear you talk about targets. May we know specifically what targets has been set for the coach? Thank you.
Yes, sorry, I'll answer that question. I think as regards targets, this is normal. What is normal is, firstly, as a coach, you do the best job that you can. What is normal from your employees is that they want success. This is normal. Whether it be our association, any other association, or football club, you want success. So.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank all of you for spending your morning with us. The Football Association greatly appreciates your time. Let me run by you what has been put in place as regards the team's arrival and our schedule in Kumasi. Hopefully, the team will arrive tomorrow afternoon around 1 p.m. Is that right? We will have our first training in Kumasi at the Babayara Sports Stadium in the afternoon, after lunch. And then the official training before the match, which is normally called Match Day -1, will take place on Wednesday. And then the game is at 4 p.m. on Thursday. Coach Chris Hughton will speak to the press in a pre-match press conference on Wednesday. So we will communicate the time. As usual, the venue will be at the Babayara Sports. We will communicate the time.
Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ellie. Kindly remember to subscribe, like, share, and click on the notification bell. See you next time.